Welcome to another Vista 8 podcast. In this series, you'll be going to the minds of two friends living 2,000 miles away from each other, talking about past experiences, future goals, and everything in between. Today we have a special guest that will be talking about some crazy work experiences, including some stories from me and Maria. You do not want to miss out on this. So sit back, relax, and enjoy the show, because we're the Long Distanters. Welcome back to the podcast. My name is Cris, and this is Maria.
Hi.
And as you guys know, we have a special guest here today.
Yes, it's a really cool guy actually that I've known for a little bit now. His name is Marwan. Marwan, how are you doing today?
I'm good. Good.
That's good. So the theme for today's video is crazy and wild work stories. You know, if you've had a crazy experience with an ex-boss or an ex-coworker or something just absolutely crazy happened at work one day, you know, we're just going to be telling our stories and talking about our experiences at work and things like that. And we had two winners. Marwan was our first winner, and then we have a second winner, and her name is Stacy. But Stacy wasn't actually able to be here today as she was busy with something. And so we're actually going to make a part 2 with her story and her her winner story in it. So that'll be really cool. But until then, Marwan, have you had any crazy work stories?
Yes. Just last night, a guy walks in, normal, and right behind him, when he pulled into I work at a gas station, just a little background. So this guy pulls up to one of the pumps with the police lighting up behind him. And this guy acts like the police are not behind him. He just walks in normally into the gas station. The officer's telling him, yo, stop moving. Dude walks in, grabs a drink off the shelf, starts gulping it down. And the officer's right behind him with a taser. All right, get down, get your ass on the ground. And, you know, Harvey police, they do not mess around. And they freaking put a wristband on him, threw him in the car, and they searched his car. And he turned out to be a human trafficker, a child human trafficker. Two children came out of it. Two children came out. One of them was almost butt naked out of his car, and they searched his entire car. They found drugs. They found illegal weapons, a bunch of weapons, and it was all on video because it happened. He conveniently parked right where the camera is at. Like, the camera had a perfect view of everything that was happening. They pulled out a bunch of guns. They pulled out a bunch of guns. The kids, they walked to their parents. I think their parents were like 2 pumps away. I don't know why. I don't know how, but I mean, it's dangerous to be near a person like that. And if he noticed them, it would be trouble. But
right.
Yeah, it ended up being some kind of sex trafficking ring or child, human trafficking or something, and the weapons and all that. The officers just pulling one gun after the other, and they were huge assault rifles. And and it's nothing I've ever seen before. And and they searched his car up and down. And when he was inside, before he got arrested, he tried to dump some drugs in one of the shelves inside the gas station. I had to review the camera. I was like, that guy didn't look right. I reviewed the camera. And I see him dumping something right where the Arizona drink. There's a drink called Arizona here in Chicago. I don't know if they have it everywhere else, but yeah, he just dumps it. He dumps a bag, and I look. I go searching amongst the shelves, and I pull like 2 bottles out, and it's right there. There's a bag of drugs or whatever. I give it to the officer. I'm like, here, he dumped this. And he took a pill as he was like roaming inside the gas station. I guess he was trying to get rid of it. And he's like, I'll take one for the team. And he just gulped it down with the drink.
Gosh.
With the drink. And then he dumped whatever he had left among the shelves. And that's when he got busted, right in front of me. By the time he got busted, he was trying to pay for his drink, and the officers was yelling at him the whole time. Hey, stop moving! And he had a taser on his back. He was like he had the taser. He was like, I will tase you if you don't put your hands behind your back. Like, there's like 5 police cars outside the gas station.
Oh
Oh
looking
boy.
my
for this dude.
gosh.
But yeah, they arrested him. I ain't seen him since. But yeah,
That's crazy. Okay, well, what about you, Chris? Do you have any wild work stories?
I have a few. I
Okay,
have a lot.
what's one super crazy one?
So when I used to work at this pizzeria called Carboni's, and I mean I loved it there. It was one of the best jobs I had. Um so this was kind of in the midst of the pandemic. We had a mask mandate. And so we were cooking. We got a whole thing all set up. I just pulled out a pizza, and this guy comes in without a mask, and I said, sir, you have to put your mask on." And for to be clear, we had posted signs, so either way,
Yes,
he had to
yeah.
put his mask on anyway. So he said, "You have to put your mask on," and he's like, "No, I don't." I said, "Yeah, you do." And he said, Why do I have to?" And the worst thing I could have possibly have said was because because of the mandate. And he's like, "Bullshit." I'm like, "What do you mean bullshit?" I said, Everyone's locked in. Have you been to Walmart? Have you been to Target? Have you been to any other place?" He's like, "Well, according to the Constitution, I don't have to wear a mask." I said, "According to our doors, you do." And well, then my manager, who's the cook, is just me and the cook there that day,
Yeah.
and so he gets involved. Well, then things started skyrocketing. Like it got intense in there. There was yelling both places, and my manager was just about to to toss a pizza at him, but because his pizza wasn't out yet. So
Oh, yeah.
fine. So I was just getting things all sticked up, and I said, "Sign this and go." And he looked at me. He's like, "You're fucking serious, right?" I said, "Yes, I'm serious. You're causing too much drama here. Either you sign this now and leave." And he's like, he
Cool.
gave him this smirk, well, not smirk, but like this look. And he signed it and he walked out and waiting for his pizza. And then finally he came back and he googled this on his phone saying, "See, there is no mandate." And I looked at it and said, "There is a posted sign on the door that says you have to wear a mask. No, no discussion." But then things got even more, and I took out his pizza, I cut it up, and I said, "Take this and get the hell out of here, because we don't want this anymore." And finally, he left after 2 minutes after he got his pizza and 2 minutes of arguing. Finally, he left. I almost called the cops on him twice. And me and the manager just sat on the opposite sides of the kitchen on the floor. Both of us were almost in tears. It was
Oh my gosh.
yeah. So I never knew Karens would be this bad in male form.
Oh, yeah.
So that was one of
What
my
would you
stories.
call a Karen that's a guy?
Tyler,
A
What
tile.
was it? A Tyler?
Tyler,
There
Tyler.
was an
Okay.
there's another name for it that somebody said. I'm trying to remember what it
Oh,
was.
I
But
actually looked it up.
Kyle or Tyler. I'm not sure which one it
Someone
was.
said Ken. Ken or
no,
Kyle.
Kyle.
Yeah.
That's the one I was thinking. Kyle. In El
um
Salvador, you have Juans, but we don't talk about the Juans.
Yeah, that's true. But no, I'd have to say one of my craziest stories is like I haven't had that many crazy stories because I haven't really. Most of my jobs have been pretty like chill, like because they usually it's like a work from home type thing. Um, but I mean, I guess you could say it was okay. It wasn't really crazy. It was just a really bad customer. Like it was probably one of my worst customers. But there was this lady, and I sell homemade cat and dog treats. Well, this lady, she was like, hey, and she was asking me 100,000,001 questions about our dog treats, which, we're completely fine with. Well, dog and cat treats. She was buying stuff, I think, for her cat. So she was asking me 1,000,001 questions about the cat treats and like what's in them and, all of this type, is the stuff organic and all of that type of stuff. So we were like, so I was answering every single one of her questions because that doesn't bother me. I'm completely fine with answering questions. But then, so after that, she goes, okay, well, I'm interested. And she goes, but I just bought some cat treats for my cat. So I'll hit you up in like 2 weeks to buy some from you. And I'm like, okay, that works. And so about 2 weeks later, I messaged her and I was like, hey, like, are you still interested? And she goes, but it was like 2 days shy of like 2 weeks. And she was like, I said in 2 weeks I'd buy some. And I was like, okay, like, my bad. I'm sorry. Like, I'll leave you be. And so a couple days later, she messaged me and she was like, hey, I'm ready to buy the treats. She's like, I'd like to pick them up tomorrow. Well, not pick them, but basically have them ordered tomorrow. So we would be taking them to her at this location. And so we're like, okay, and so I told, my husband, because he cooks them, and I was like, hey, I'm really sorry, but she wants them by tomorrow. So he was like, okay, and which is called a rush order. And so we ended up having to rush order them because she wanted them the very next day. So the next day comes, and actually, hold on. Before the next day, she said, I'd asked her, I was like, hey, what time do you want to meet? And she was like, oh, tomorrow afternoon. And I was like, okay, but like what time? Like 5 o'clock, like 4 o'clock, like what time? And she was like, I don't know, just tomorrow afternoon. I'll let you know. And I was like, okay. Maybe she has like a weird schedule at work or something. Like, that's fine, whatever. And so the next day comes around. And so I told her, I said, so what time do you want to pick them up? And she was like, oh, I already told you I'm not picking them up. Like, that's why you were going to deliver them. But she was like, but apparently you heard me wrong. So I guess I'm not getting them today. And I was like, no. Like, we're delivering them. I meant, what time did you want to pick them up at this location? And she was like, oh, well, I'm actually not out of cat treats yet. So I don't think I'm going to buy any today.
You're kidding.
And I was like,
what a waste of time.
I was like, are you serious? Like, and so I messaged her back and I said, so you're not buying any today? She was like, yes, I'm not buying any. And I was like, okay. And so the very next day, she messages me and she goes, hey, this such and such location at about 11:30 a.m. She was like, would you want to meet? And she had messaged that about 9 a.m. basically the next morning. And so thankfully, I actually woke up early at like 10. Like, that's early for me lately. And so I woke up at 10. I saw the message, thankfully, in time before 11:30. And so I messaged her back and I was like, oh, yes, we can meet at 11:30. I was like, that's, awesome and everything. And I told her, I said, but the place that she had suggested was a very popular place. And, to a lot of people that know me personally, I'm a very, careful person with the pandemic because of the medicines I'm on. I have a weak immune system. And so I was like, hey, that place has a lot of people, but maybe we can be at this place, which was extremely close, like basically the same place, just away from people. And I was like, we can just meet there and deliver them there. And she was like, okay, that works. And I was like, okay, awesome. I'll see you at 11:30. And then I had forgot to ask. And so I messaged her back and I was like, hey, I have a very weak immune system. Would you mind wearing a mask? And so she sends me this big thing basically saying for medical reasons she couldn't wear a mask. And so I was like, okay, all right. And so as soon as she said that, she was like, so I guess since I'm not gonna wear a mask, I'm not gonna buy the treats, so have a nice day.
Oof.
And
Another.
I was like, wait. I was like, okay, no, the transaction's only gonna take literally a couple seconds. That's okay. That's fine. No big deal. We can still do it. And so she goes, okay. And so she starts going into this, like, I guess she was trying to, defend herself. And so she was like, look, I'm not showing any symptoms. You can trust me, which I don't even know this woman. She's a complete stranger to me. And she was like, you can trust me. If I'm sick, I'm not the type that would go out and contaminate people. She was like, and I'm not even showing any symptoms. And I'm thinking in my head, I'm like, there can be people that's asymptomatic or whatever that's called and not show any symptoms, but still carry it. Like, and so I'd asked her and I told her, I was like, okay, I trust you. Whatever, I'll meet you there at 11:30. And so she goes, okay. So it was about 30 minutes before we were supposed to be there. I had to ask because I'm a very careful person, like I said, because I don't want, me to die if I get it or something like that because of my immune
Yeah,
system.
that'd be no good.
Exactly. And so
I was supposed to host a show.
and, and so I texted her and I was like, hey, have you been around anyone sick or like showing symptoms in the past 2 weeks? I think I deserve to at least know that since you're not going to be wearing a mask. I don't think I said that part to her, but I just asked, I'm like, have you been around anyone sick in the past 2 weeks? And she replies back and she goes, you know what? I don't think this is such a good idea. Or she said something along those lines and she was like, I'll just try making them myself. Thanks for the time. God bless you.
Wow.
And I was like, are you? And so I just left her on red and then we were in a group chat with the guy who told her about my treats. And so I just left the group chat and he messaged me like apologizing and he was like, I'm so sorry. Like, and I was like, dude, it's no big deal. It's whatever. Like, but I sat there and I was so upset. And I'm like, I literally just made these treats, like rushed order for her. She declines me the first time and then declines me again the second day. Like, what? What? Why? It's literally a tiny bag of cat treats. There's about 50 treats in the bag for $6. You couldn't afford to meet me for literally 30 seconds for a $6 bag of treats. Like, I don't even know. It upset me so much and it upset my husband so much as well.
And
But we were
that's
like,
what I
you know
call
what? We were
a
like,
Karen.
yeah. And so I was like, you know what? Oh well, I'm like, I'll just sell it to someone else. And I actually did sell it to someone else. And I actually made more money off of that person because they bought 2 bags instead of 1. So, but not. It was crazy. I couldn't believe that. I was like, wow. Okay. Uh, but no. So I think that's about it for my story. So Marwan, the story
Yes.
that the story that you told me that
Oh, about the
won
silver van?
that won the con. No, not. I don't think it was the silver van. I think it was the one about the Camaro or something like that, or Lamborghini, or it was something like that. But the one that you had told me that won the contest. Do you want to say that one?
It wasn't a Lamborghini. It was the van that got stolen by that
Oh,
homeless guy.
okay. Then that one.
Yeah,
Then
I think it's that one. I
okay. Well,
there
go
is no
ahead and.
Lam. I don't. There's not enough Lamborghinis in Chicago to be coming around.
True. My bad. I must have forgot.
I wouldn't even trust a Lamborghini in Chicago last time I was there.
Honestly, yeah. Like. All right. Well, go
So
ahead and tell that story.
this customer, he's in his probably 50s. Really nice customer. The thing is, about a year and a half, 2 years ago, but it was pre-COVID. He had just to give you a little background, he had a stroke. So this guy, he doesn't say much. He mumbles, he slurs his words. So like as soon as he walks in, we already know what he needs. Pack of Marlboro Light 100s. That's what he smokes all the time. That's the only reason why he comes inside the gas station. Is gas and Marlboro Light 100s. So he walks in, No, he doesn't walk in. He comes in his work van. Sometimes he comes in his work van. Sometimes he comes in his weekend toy, a little Pontiac coupe convertible. Depends. But that day he came in his work van. It was a weekday. It was like Tuesday night or Wednesday night, a couple of days ago. And there's always this guy that hangs outside, and we tell him all the time, leave. Don't hang out here. Don't hang. He always walks up to customers' cars, and it's Harvey. People will shoot your ass for walking up to their car. You know, it's Chicago. People, they'll kill you. They just need a reason to kill you. You know, they're itching to kill somebody out here in Chicago. But anyways, he walks in. I mean, he's outside begging for change, walking up to people. Hey man, can I buy a cigarette off you? You know, that type of thing. And then this guy pulls up, parks on the pump. That's the thing I don't like that people do is they always leave their car running outside. And he leaves his car, shuts the door. The light is on, which tells me that the car is on. And this guy, the homeless guy, he sees him walk inside the gas station. He sees an old guy, has a stroke. That guy can barely. And this dude just jumps in his car and pulls off. The homeless guy jumps in the guy that had a stroke, and the guy that had a stroke, his whole life is inside that van. Tools, things. I think he's a contractor or some construction. I don't know what he does, but his whole life is inside that van. And this guy just pulls off in it, and I was like, I hate the homeless guy. And my boss was like, it's kind of good and it's kind of bad. I'm like, I know exactly what you mean. It's kind of good because I'll never see that homeless guy again, and it's kind of bad because he stole a car from a really nice customer
Right.
that doesn't deserve it. And the thing is, Harvey police, they don't give a rat's ass. You call them, they don't care. They don't. Sometimes, I swear to God, sometimes I call them, they don't even show up. Or they show up a half hour, 45 minutes later.
Oh my
They
gosh.
they don't get the laziest human beings on the planet is Harvey police.
And I thought
And
the Minneapolis police was bad. Now I'm hearing this story. Like, yeah,
yeah,
we got way better police than anything.
yeah.
I mean,
Anyway, anyways,
maybe they weren't lazy. Maybe they were like on a different call and they don't have.
that's the thing. That's the thing. They think it's not a priority. He's just a guy hanging outside. He's not gonna do much. He's just hanging out outside the gas station. He's nothing. It's not really that important. That's what they think. That's what
I
they
mean,
think.
yeah.
And anyways, we call the police. We do a report. The guy was literally crying inside the gas station. I mean, he's got his whole life inside that van. You know what I'm saying? The guy was crying. He had a stroke. He can barely speak. He just walks in crying, bawling his eyes out. An old man bawling his eyes out almost shatters my heart. Anyways, we call the police. They do a report. Bunch of BS. If you see him again, that's the BS thing that police people like to say. If you see him again, call us. Call us. If you see him again, let us know. Which is a bunch of BS. We see him again. We call you. You show up 20 minutes later when he's in Indiana. He's an hour away now. Where the
Oh
hell were you?
wow.
Where the hell were you? You come in here 30 minutes later. Well, you know, come right away. And the police department is literally a spitting distance from the gas station. What the hell? Are you going to have a coffee, a donut, and a whole session before you come to the gas station? Literally, how long does it take you to come here? You're literally right down the road from us. Not even 2 minutes.
Yeah.
We're on 147th. The police station is on 152nd or 153rd. It's literally 3 blocks from the gas station.
Oh
Yeah.
boy.
Like, and it's right there. There's no train tracks, nothing. There's just turn on the lights and come. Literally 30 seconds and you're at the gas station. It's 2 minutes away if you got to stop at red lights and all that stuff. But if you turn on your lights and come in, 30 seconds, 45 seconds, and you should be at the gas station. You know what I'm saying?
Talking
Yeah.
about
Why?
talking about
And
lights. So, sorry to interrupt. So on your traffic lights, if there's any emergency vehicle coming in,
there's a light. Yes, yes.
there
That's
is
the
a
light
light
on
that
top.
flashes?
Yes, yes. At the
Okay,
at
you
the
guys
traffic
have
light.
that too. Okay.
Yes, I think they have it in all the states. I think all states have
Arizona
it.
doesn't.
Really?
Wait, what? What is it?
The
So
lights. Go ahead.
yeah, so in Minnesota and Chicago as well, we've got these. They're LED lights now, but there would be a light that would shine on whenever there's an emergency vehicle coming in, and they would turn all the lights red except for the light that is
Where
making
the
the where the
emergency vehicle is coming from, they would turn it
yes,
green. Yes.
yes.
What?
So
That's
yep,
so cool.
yep. And the only state that not seen it is, I think, part of Wisconsin and Arizona.
Yeah, I know definitely Arizona doesn't have it. Dude, I
Yeah.
wish we had that here because oh my gosh, people annoy me with that.
Well,
Like, oh,
even when with the lights, like the lights don't change in service. So when there's
yeah.
a police car going on. Now in Tucson, if there's a train coming in, the light flashes red.
Yes.
Yes, yeah.
But
That's on the crossing, the railroad crossing.
Yeah.
yes,
That makes sense.
Oh, now I remember what story you were talking about. The Porsche.
Yes,
The
yes,
Porsche.
Porsche. It
Okay.
wasn't a Lamborghini, it was the Porsche.
I
Yes,
don't know.
that story.
Yeah. But anyways, let me finish that one off. So
Okay.
2 days later, I see the guy. This is how useless the Harvey police is at. This is how useless Harvey police is. They bust a guy, one of the nicest customers you will ever have an encounter with. Comes in, buys his stuff. I mean, he buys stuff that he rolls his weed in, but he buys stuff. He doesn't bother nobody, doesn't steal anything. He's straightforward type of customer. He comes in, buys his blunts, walks out. Walks out. His car is literally parked like right where the door is at, right where pump two is at. Pump two is literally right in front of the door, gas station door. He gets in his car. 5 police cars are right behind him. What's going on? And then the police officer walks in. I'm like, what's going on? Because it's a really nice customer. They're searching him, patting him down, and stuff like that. We're like, no, he had a warrant and he told us some fake name, and he'll be out in a couple hours. I'm like, okay, that's cool. And the guy that stole the van literally was inside the gas station while the police was outside.
oh boy.
And I'm like, what the hell are you doing here? He's like, oh, nothing. He's wearing a mask. Of course, he never wore a mask before in his life until he started stealing cars. Now he's getting noticed everywhere, so he started wearing a mask, of course. He wears a mask, walks in,
Yeah.
amen, whatever, he buys something, walks out, and I call the police. As soon as he walks out, I call the police. I'm like, hopefully the dispatcher will tell the guys that are outside that the guy is right there in front of them. The guy walks in front of them like they're his buddies. The dude that stole the van walks by the police officers like they're bros, you know? And the police officers, they don't give a rat's cheeks about this guy. He just walks up, skedaddles right behind, like he takes a turn by the trash, right by the gas station, and goes behind the gas station. There's an abandoned church where all the homeless people sleep at, right behind the gas station.
Oh yeah.
I'm like, what the fuck, man? Man, these police officers ain't shit. I swear to God, if I take a turn in my Camry, I'll find this guy. I'll tell him, get in. I got some food for you because he's homeless. He'll probably want it. And bust his ass myself. I don't even need police officers.
Just drive him to the local sheriff and be like, here,
Here,
like.
here, here. You're welcome for doing your job. And there, and then he comes back again. He comes back not even an hour later. The police are gone. The guy that they took his car, they towed his car and they took him to jail or whatever.
Yeah.
The guy comes back and he's roaming around again outside begging for change and stuff. I call the police and I'm like, the police, here's the trick about Harvey police. When you call them, and they say, okay, we'll send a unit right away, and they hang up, don't let them hang up. If you hang up, they will not send anybody. Or they'll show up an hour later. They'll show up an hour later. They won't, you know? So I told her, can you stay on the phone with me until the officer gets here? That's when they start sending their people in. Like, not even 45 seconds. In that conversation, there's an undercover police officer right outside the gas station.
oh
I'm like, you
boy.
should, that's the trick, you know? So I'm like, look, he's hiding right behind, right where that fence is at. And I'm explaining the area where the guy was at. and they busted his ass. And I'm like, yeah, because I did the job for you. That's how you guys busted him. Where he would have, and they were outside for like 3 hours interrogating the guy. You know,
Yeah.
and they hooked him and booked him is what they say in Chicago. That means they handcuffed him and booked him, processed
took him
him.
away.
Yeah, hooked him and
Take
booked
him
him.
away.
Yeah, that's the first one, man. I was so happy, and I was trying to call because my coworker. It happened, and I wasn't at the gas station when the van got stolen. But I know the guy. As soon as I saw the video, I knew who it was. I knew the van. I knew everything, and I know who stole it. I knew everything about the whole situation
Yeah.
just by like a 10-second video. And then
Yeah.
I called my coworker, the one that took the video. I'm like, do you have any numbers do you have the guy that had a stroke? Do you have his number or his friend? He's like, look, I have a translator because the guy can barely talk. So here's that guy. Here's his number. There you go. I called him.
Yeah.
Hey man, here they need to sign. You have to sign a complaint or some shit like that so they can arrest him. The police officer said. I'm like, oh well, it's not me. It's my buddy. I work with him, but here's a number you can get a hold of him. I call the number, doesn't answer, and it's like 10:30 at night, so he's probably asleep. 10:30, 11 o'clock at night. This happens. He's probably asleep, and I'm like, oh, I'm trying to get a hold of him because I hate when somebody does something bad and they let him go. I hate when
Right.
this shit happens, man. And then the next day, the customer comes in, hey man. What's going on? He's pretty much spitting in your face. Like here, what happened? I got away with it. What are you gonna do now? Type of deal.
Yeah.
Man, I hate when that happens. But but they caught him and they processed him. They took him inside the car, and man, I ain't never seen him ever since. And this happened like 3 days ago.
Oh,
And man,
good.
I was happier than a pig in shit. But anyways, anyways, here's another story about the Porsche. The Porsche story is a little shorter. So there's this guy, really nice guy, comes in, grabs his backwoods. Backwoods is another thing that they put weed in. But anyways,
Right?
that's what he usually gets. And this is this is the first time. So imagine this, the first time I've ever worked night shift. This was like a year and a half ago. This was around the time COVID started. The night guy that used to work at the gas station, he pretty much crapped his pants. He was like, Corona, oh my God, I don't want to work anymore. I'm going to go sit at home with my parents, with my mommy and daddy. I'm scared. I don't want to work. I'm like, okay. And my boss was like, all right, you want to work night shift? I'm like, hey, I'll work wherever you put me. He's like, I want you to work night shift from now on. I'm like, okay. Like, not even 2 weeks into the night shift. This was like March of last year. This guy walks in. I knew the guy. He comes in all the time. What's up, man? How you doing? Gives me a $20 bill. He gives me the $20 bill and he turns around. And there's a car parked like 20 feet away from his Porsche. It's a Porsche Cayenne. It's the big one, the SUV. But
Oh,
it's
yeah.
an older one. Like a 2003 or 2004 Cayenne.
Oh boy.
So it looks fucked up, just to say the least. The car. So I wouldn't get caught dead in that car. But anyways, which by the way was the case for the guy that stole it. But anyways, the dude was strapped, of course. This is bad neighborhood. I mean, he's a cool guy, but do not mess with him. You mess with him, he will cut your neck off. The guy that bought the back.
Okay.
Really nice customer, respectful, really cool guy. Anyways, he walks in. As soon as he hands me the $20 bill, he turns around and he sees somebody jump in his car. I see somebody with really long hair, dreads, jump in his SUV in the Porsche. And this guy just pulls out his gun, walks out the door, bah, 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 right in front of the door.
Oh my God.
Boy.
Bah, 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 bah. And I hear like 6, 7, 8 shots as the car is pulling out. As the guy is stealing his car, he's pulling out and he's just shooting. Bah, 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 bah. And then they chase him. He grabs his cousin, which another regular customer, really nice guy too. I mean, his whole family is really nice. He calls his cousin. They go. They chase him and they pretty much get the car in the city in Chicago. They catch him in Chicago.
Oh my
They were like
gosh.
30 minutes away. We're outside in the suburbs, a little outside of Chicago, but they catch him in Chicago about 30 minutes later. And I don't know. I think he died. I think he got him with a bullet. But anyway.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. But good. That's good, Maria.
Yeah.
Yeah. But anyways,
I mean, for a guy that's stealing a Porsche, I think he deserves it.
Yeah, exactly. But anyways, I mean, let's be honest, the Porsche was a piece of shit. But anyways,
That's true. So it could
but
go both
anyways,
ways for that.
anyways,
Oh
he
my
goes.
god.
They get the car, but I don't know. They never. I've never seen the car yet before. I've never seen the car since. I think
Yeah.
he like damaged it or something, and the insurance company covered it or whatever. They said it was salvage. That's it. The car hit a pole or something when it got stolen. When it got stolen or hit a tree or anyways, I never seen the car, but like 3 or 4 hours later, this happened by the way at like 1 in the morning. I was working night shift. Remember, I was working night shift. So this happened at like 1:30 in the morning, and his cousin comes back at like 5 in the morning, 4:30 in the morning. He's
Oh
like,
boy.
man, my cousin gave you a $20 bill. I was like, yeah, I got you, bro. What you need? He's like, no, I don't need. He don't need nothing, man. Just give him the 20 back. I'm like, okay. He's like, you don't want no backwood? He's like, oh no, he's got a lot more to deal with than just a pack of backwoods now. And then every customer that walks in is like, damn, what happened? They're like, what do you mean? It's like, man, there's shell casings outside. I'm like, oh yeah, somebody got shot. I like scaring the customers. I'm like, somebody got shot.
Oh my gosh.
Somebody got capped out here. And they're like, oh.
I'd be like, oh hell no.
Like, some of them get scared, like, oh hell no, I'm out this motherfucker.
I'm like, I'm out of here, man.
Like,
Oh
I'm
my
out of here.
gosh.
And some of them are like, oh man, good. What happened? Like, he tried to steal a car and got shot. He got killed. Like, oh, okay, good. He deserved that shit. I'm like, hell yeah, that's what I'm talking about.
Oh my gosh. Okay. Chris, what's another one of your crazy stories?
Another one of my crazy stories. Well, not as crazy as what we were just told, but
I just blew
so
y'all out of the water, didn't I?
so again at that pizza place, I'm also a delivery driver as well as wait staff. So I was delivery driving one night. And Maria, you know about the story too. I told you about this before.
I'm so happy you're telling this one. I was just about to ask if you could say this one.
So it's a Saturday night. It was around 10 o'clock, about 9:30, 10 o'clock. We get this call, and it was somebody asking for this pizza, and they live in North Shore, so in Forest Lake in Minnesota, we have a town called Forest Lake, and we've got this big lake. Then you got Forest Lake, and connected to it is Second Lake, and then you got Third Lake. Well, there's a road that kind of goes around the lake onto this Minnesota State Highway, and that's called North Shore Trail. So we just call it, North Shore area.
Yeah.
So I have to go all the way to North Shore, which is a pretty good 15-minute drive, depending on which way you go. And so by the time I get the pizza, it's already 10 o'clock, and I'm going to see if I can be there by 10:15. And sure enough, I did, but the waitress gave me the wrong ending of the address, like, drive, street, court, and everything.
Yes.
So she gave me the wrong one. So I ended up finding the actual address. So I drive into this road, pitch black, and I can't find the house. So I'm like, where in the world could it be? So I call the person with the number I got. This phone number does not exist. Goodbye.
Good grief.
And I'm like, what? So maybe I dialed the wrong number. I try again. This phone number does not exist. Goodbye. I'm like, you gotta be kidding me. So I called Carboni's, and I told the waitress, I said, you know what the phone number is for this person? Because I cannot get connected to him. They said, well, let me try from over here. So she puts me on hold. She calls the number, comes back saying it didn't work. I'm like, well, that's worth a shot. So,
Yeah.
and as I was being put on hold again, as they're trying to figure this out, I ended up finding the house. So I texted the waitress, said, hey, I found it. Don't worry about it. I found the house. So I go, because it's behind these big trees in somebody else's driveway. So you have to enter somebody else's driveway to get to their driveway. behind these trees. It was just chaos.
Oh yeah.
So I knock on the door. The house was pretty much pitch black except for one light in the basement. And I knock on the door and I wait about 5 minutes. And here the stair light turns on. Here comes this elderly lady. She's probably maybe in her mid 70s, maybe early 80s. She wasn't disabled, but she was walking kind of slow. So she comes out and she says, "Can I help you?" And I said, "Yeah, I have a pizza that was requested to go to this house." And she said, let me check." She shuts the door, goes downstairs into the basement. But a couple minutes later, she comes back up and she says, "There's nobody else here. I don't know who. I don't know who else would buy pizza. I didn't order anything." I said, "Oh, maybe I'm in the wrong house. Okay, well, thank you anyway." So I leave and I get into my car. Not to mention that there's this car with its lights on, just driving in and out of the road. I don't even know what it was doing. Like, it would come out of different driveways. It was just kind of spooky, but
That's
I didn't really
weird.
mind it. I didn't really mind it too much. So I called back and I said, "Well, they said that this was not ordered." So they said, "Well, try going to the spot that was on the paper." I said, "Okay." So I drove over. I said, "It just took me into the middle of the street. There's nothing here." And they said, "All right, well, turn back the Carbonis." So I drove all the way back, another 15-minute drive back, and it's already 11 by then. Right as I'm thinking as I'm driving, like, maybe they're going to call back. Maybe, there was just a misunderstanding or something. Right when I entered the door of Carboni's, they called back. And the lady said, "I'm sorry, I didn't know my grandson ordered anything." And so
Uh,
the owner said, "Well, he talked to me, said, "Well, we're closed." But I said, "Did you want to deliver the pizza on your off time?" I said, "Well, it's sort of on the way there, so sure." So I did, thinking maybe he's going to give me a higher tip. And
yeah.
so I take the pizza, I clock out everything, I add everything up. I take the pizza there. And right when I got to the door, well, the guy was standing outside and he said, "I'm so sorry about this whole thing." I said, "It's okay." Just hoping if I was nice to him, he would give me a better tip.
Yeah.
That didn't
And that
happen.
makes sense.
That didn't happen. The only thing he said was, "I'm sorry." He took the pizza. He said, "Have a nice day." Went inside. I'm like, "You piece of shit."
Honestly,
I,
I'd be so mad. Like, I'd be like, "Are you serious? Like, that wasn't even worth it. Like, that didn't even pay for the gas money."
right.
You have to use your own car, don't you?
Yeah.
Yep.
Oh,
You
it
have to use
reminds me.
good old Cobalt.
Oh, Cobalt.
I have a little Cobalt.
Anyway, so for today's sponsor is the like button. It will make me and Chris very, very happy, and it would help us tremendously. So please just do us a little favor, go down below, hit that like button, and take a couple seconds out of your day and hit the subscribe button and hit the little notification button. And I think we'll make you very happy as well with all of our humor and laughs and jokes. And that was
Oh,
absolutely
yay.
terrible, but I tried. So
Anyway, I think that should wrap up the podcast.
yeah, I think it did. I just want to take some time and thank Marwan for the incredible stories, and thank you for the time and coming onto this podcast and talking. So thank you for being here, Marwan.
Yeah, you're welcome. And if you're ever in Chicago, don't leave your car running and walk into a store.
I think that's actually a very good tip to end this podcast on.
Don't leave your car on at a gas station. Tip for everybody, no matter where you live.
Yes, don't do that. Especially if you have kids in the car. Don't do that. Anyway, so I thank you all for watching, and I hope you guys have a wonderful day.
All right.
As always, we'll see you next time.
Peace.
Peace.